Welcome to Fanfare Fridays. This week we are going to be graced by the Mississippi born piano player extraordinaire, Miss Eden Brent. And this is a place where you, the fans and the public, submit the questions in advance for the artist to answer. So all these questions are from other folks who have submitted them. And welcome, Miss Eden. We are here to get some answers.
Ooh, I hope I know the
Here
answers.
are your
I,
questions.
I've been concerned that somebody might stump me with a question I did not know the answer to.
To be continued. I'm going to start with a question from Hank Leo out of New York.
Oh, great.
And his question is for traditional blues fans, especially Mississippi Delta blues and boogie woogie and juke joint blues, it is important that the genre doesn't die or lose its footing in American culture. It's one of the national treasures. How do we keep the flame burning and the spirit alive for generations to come so that generations to come can enjoy and appreciate the blues?
That's a beautiful question. Uh, I think that probably the best way is hand to hand, person to person, with an apprenticeship similar to the one I had with Boogaloo
Mm.
Ames. And there are educational programs that are encouraging such relationships. For example, uh, here in Mississippi, there are folk arts apprenticeship grants available. In fact, Boogaloo and I participated in one of those grant periods. And so, for a period of 3 months, the Mississippi Arts Commission, through a grant, paid Boogaloo to teach me
Oh.
his boogie woogie and blues piano style. And that was, that 3 months, I probably learned more in that 3 months of working with him than in any other given year that we worked together, because I took the program so seriously. There was paperwork that had to be submitted. It wasn't like just getting together with your pal and maybe you pick up a little something, or maybe you just have a drink and have some fun. you know, uh, so that's a great way. Is participating in grant programs that are available like that, and they have them available. Not just in blues music, but they're available also in like folk music, bluegrass. There's fiddle players who participated and learned from an older master fiddlist, or fiddler, I guess, fiddler. Uh, and then there's basket weaving and quilting classes too. Any kind of folk art, like blues is. And then also, up at I'm just here in Greenville, which is 75 or so miles south of Clarksdale, Mississippi. And in Clarksdale, at the oldest music museum in Mississippi, the Clarksdale Delta Blues Museum, they have classes there, after school classes, where they teach young people how to play. They have artists come in, and I'm not sure who all has participated. I know that Lambert gentleman. I'm not. He might have been one of the people that started that program. Anyway, I think that's where Kingfish got started, was at that place, and then up in Memphis, just another 75 miles north of here. Uh, they've got the Stax Music Academy, where young people are learning from people in the community.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping one of these days that somebody will approach me and want to play like me, like I wanted to play like Boogaloo. So I mean, really, if somebody wants to play like me, they really want to play like Boogaloo, because that's who I play like. But yeah, I think that's the best way to keep it going. I mean, the Blues Foundation does a beautiful job of keeping the fans connected, but as far as teaching blues, I think it's better person to person. You can go to a university, but having that real experience with somebody who's been on the road, uh, that's there's nothing like it. I mean, it's priceless. All
Yeah, I can imagine. And I think that's a great segue into the next question.
right.
Kenny Pagburn out of Mississippi says, besides the great Boogaloo Ames, who are the top three most influential musicians in your life?
Besides Boogaloo, okay. Well, one would have to be my mother because my mother was a songwriter, um, and my dad too. But should I just lump them together? But both my parents, of course, they encouraged me from before I can even recall. They were encouraging me, and I think I showed an aptitude for music. So uh, they were my most critical influences besides Boogaloo. And I've listened to so many different kinds of music. I mean, you know, uh, I've listened to piano players like Errol Garner or Oscar Peterson. I mean, I've said in the past that I really wanted to be a jazz musician, but I was just too damn lazy. you know, it's just so many notes, man. uh, I do love jazz, but the truth of the matter is, being from Mississippi and having been kind of immersed in a, a blues community, having the Mississippi Delta Blues Festival here every year, something that I love to go uh, to, an event that I love to go to every year, and being exposed to people like seeing BB King and in a little bitty club, where he's just right over there, just like the same kind of club that I have played in. In fact, the same club that I have played in before. Having those up close and personal experiences, I think I just had a greater aptitude for blues than I did for jazz, even though I love all kinds of music. And then, of course, there's my sisters are terrific influences on me.
Mm-hmm.
Both of my sisters are songwriters, and that's Jessica Brent. That's my older sister. She does country music kind of, and then my younger sister Bronwyn Brent. She just came out with a new record. She's racing me to the finish line. she she came out with a new record, and uh, her stuff is great. So y'all should check her out. Then I've listened to a whole lot of singers as a young person and as an older person too. Um, I mean, some of the classic singers like Bessie Smith or Dinah Washington or Billie Holiday or some of these or Etta James, or even some of the people that I've met like Marcia Ball, who was so nice to me. I couldn't believe it. And she is long, tall, Marcia Ball, fabulous woman with long fingers. She's been a great influence, and just kind of all the people I've met along the road. I would say it's hard to say a top three besides my immediate family and the people in my immediate community. Like I did some work early on with a harmonica player named Willie Foster, and so that helped me to be develop some few skills as a band member instead of just being kind of a band leader. And Little Bill Wallace, who was a contemporary of B.B. King's back in the 40s, I worked with him some at some of the local festivals. And my major influences are the people that have been close to me, who I've really been able to spend some time with. And some of the musicians I've worked with, like the cool Bad Bones Bobby Walker out of Colorado, who's a great drummer and a guitar picker, and I have fun every time he's around. Bob, my husband Bob, is a great influence. Too many to mention.
And I want you to know Sam Upala from West Virginia is here.
Oh,
And he has a question. So stick around, Sam, because that question is on the
oh,
list.
good. Oh, yeah, I miss
Um,
Sam over there in West Virginia.
so you're talking about harmonica players. And
Uh,
so, yep, indeed, I have a question from Jason Ricci.
uh-oh.
You ready?
Sure, I'll try.
How did you begin singing? What formal training did you have, if any? And what's your recommendation for people who are just really afraid to sing? It can be so personal and scary. How did you overcome that fear?
Unfortunately, I never had the fear.
Really?
So, yeah, I don't think so. Maybe one time when I was young, I might have held my hand in front of my mouth while me and the other kids in the family were singing in a telethon. You know, if you're going to put money in the pot, they'll let any kid on TV to sing. So my dad, it was a telethon, and or maybe it was a radiothon. No, it was a telethon. And my dad was making a donation if they would let us sing "You Are My Sunshine" or something. And I had my hand in front of my mouth the whole time because I was a little shy then, but I don't remember that. I just was told. I don't. I probably should have been a little more shy. There have been many times in my life when I might have been able to use that. Um, I think I always just loved to sing, and I was always encouraged to sing. And because I loved to do it and did it kind of naturally, then as a young person, when I was in school, if they wanted somebody to lead the class in the Star Spangled Banner, or normally every morning we would say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we would sing "My Country 'Tis of Thee," or the Star Spangled Banner, or America, or some kind of patriotic song in the morning to get us going. And very often the teacher would have me lead the class because they knew that I wasn't afraid to do it. Uh, so I think if you everybody can sing, whether they know they can or not. Uh, not everybody has a great sense of pitch, but who cares? Birds, when I walk outside and I hear birds singing in all kind of different keys, it doesn't sound bizarre to me. It sounds great. So I don't think you need to worry so particularly about whether what you're doing is right or not. I think if you sing like you mean it, and uh, you're really expressing yourself, then people respond to that normally in a positive way. So I would, for somebody who's afraid to do it, I would say, sing along with the radio real loud, and then maybe over time, kind of turn the radio down a little bit. uh, yeah. Or is that all of the aspects of the question? Have I
Yeah, I
dealt?
think
Did I?
so.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's when you learn if you have it or not, when you actually took your advice with the radio. Because when I used to do that as a teenager and I would turn it down, all I could hear was how badly out of pitch I was. And so then it would just get even louder. And then it made me respect that. I mean, yeah, sure, everyone can sing, but
Right.
to do it in a way that can sound good, whether accompanied by an instrument or something, because not all vocals have to be great for us to like the talent. I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean, there's an awful lot of people who get paid to sing. I think I'm probably one of them who don't have the prettiest voice in the world.
oh yes, you do.
But I mean, you know, you know what I mean. There's
You
there's a lot of there's a lot of there's a lot of kind of Neil Youngs and Bob Dylans out there who
exactly.
don't have the most Pavarotti type voice. Oh, there was one aspect of his question that I did not answer, Jason. Uh, when I did not really have any formal training until I got to college, and as a piano principal, my major instrument was the piano, but you have to have a secondary instrument, and so I chose the voice. and and so that was the first time that I had any formal training. And actually, in my voice lessons in college, they had me singing, really high in a way that was very unnatural to me, because I grew up listening to a lot of popular kind of music as a very young person, say, you know, just breaking into teenager, 13, 14. I had a band director who showed me how to read chord symbols. And so then I started looking at books like James Taylor books, or uh, Jackson Brown books, or, popular kinds of music, that I could get these songbooks from an album that I had, and then follow the chords along. And that's how I learned to read chords instead of reading notes, because I was never very good at reading the notes. I can do it, but it's just, I'm not very quick. I'm a terrible sight reader. And so that was how I was singing, was with all this popular music. And that's normally not this sort of classical head voice that, oh, yeah. But they had me singing like that in college. And oddly enough, even though they probably frown on the techniques that I use as a blues singer now, a classical teacher probably would say, you might not do that with your voice. Still, the techniques that they showed me, the vocal exercises that we did, and then, some of the visualizations, like if I was having a trouble hitting a pitch, say a higher pitch, you know, visualizing reaching over the note, and, just certain things like that. Also, breath exercises that we did. And all these things have, I think, made my singing voice a much stronger instrument, if you want to go so far as to call it that. There's only a couple of people that I consider really instrumentalists with their voice, and one would be Betty Carter, the great jazz singer, Betty Carter. Uh, Maybe Bobby McFerrin, it would be the other. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I've seen
All right.
concert.
So where did, a side note, where was the bar that you saw BB King that you've played?
Over at Club Ebony in Indianola, Mississippi.
Okay. All right, then here's the next one that I think I should have pulled this up before now, and you can see my kitty cat wants to join us.
I saw a little somebody creeping by.
So Mike Whitteking from Iowa, he is curious about why and how you decided music was it for you.
I don't even know. I have no idea how that happened. I just know that I always loved to play. I always loved to perform. Like I said a minute ago, I kind of wasn't ever shy about it, whether I was good or bad. I've gotten up in front of a crowd one time because I couldn't read music very good. I was accompanying this dude while he was singing, and I had a huge crush on him, which is probably why I fouled up so bad. But I was accompanying him playing Three Times a Lady. And I fouled it up so bad. At that point, I probably should have quit. It was a total flop, a total failure. I should have stopped, but, I figured it's just music. If I make the worst mistakes, like I have done before, and probably will unfortunately do again, it's not gonna, the worst it could do is make somebody want their ticket money back or something. It's not gonna harm anybody physically, or probably not even emotionally. It's a harmless craft. And so it's easy to have a lot of guts and a lot of bravado when you know you can't really hurt anybody. Yeah.
That's true. So Susie and Scott Mayer out of Iowa would like to know, what is your first memory of music in your life?
The first memory of music. Okay, I can't remember my first musical memory exactly. I mean, I have memories of being in a pram. I don't know if y'all know what a pram is. A pram is one of those English looking carriages where the baby is lying down on its back. And anyway, I
Oh,
have memories of being rolled around in the pram. It's a little bit like a baby stroller, except the baby's laying down and it sits higher up. Uh, Anyhow, so I have memories of being in the pram, but I don't remember listening to any music. uh, I remember singing songs like "Down on the Levee" with my dad, playing guitar. My daddy plays a few chords on the guitar, and so we do songs like "Down on the Levee," or "You Are My Sunshine," or kind of easy songs for kids like that. And I remember playing. I remember, being asked to, and of course, very willingly accepting invitations to perform in nursing homes and stuff as a little elementary school kid. Uh, I remember being asked to participate in a musical performance of the Do Re Mi song in The Sound of Music. And
mhm.
I think that might be the thing that hooked me to wanting to be a performer, like make that a career. I always knew that I wanted to play music. I didn't, but honestly, I did not know that I was not going to be a rock star. you know, I, I thought I was going to be like Hart or somebody like that. That's who I pictured myself to be as a young person until I met Boogaloo, and then I said to hell with that. uh, but I always knew that I wanted to perform because I guess I probably liked the attention. I was the third of four kids, so I think not that it ever occurred to me consciously, but I think somehow subconsciously we probably think middle kids probably don't think they get enough attention, you know,
I
and
think that's true.
so I think I was probably trying pretty hard to get attention to anywhere and anybody I could. So I don't remember my first musical sounds or anything really, but music was always a part of my life from what I can remember.
Ellen Foster from Virginia.
Uh, uh,
All of us who love music believe it can change the world. What are your thoughts on how, in this time of quarantine, you and we can help encourage that change?
uh, Gosh, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't felt very powerful in the quarantine. I'll say this is probably the least powerful I might have felt in my whole life because I've just done a couple, I think, of performances that were virtual. And I have recorded a couple of things. Tina, like I had told you, I did a little thing for the Greenville Arts Council and for the Mississippi Arts Commission. I participated in something they were doing, a conglomerate of a bunch of different people associated with the commission. So, I've done some recordings like that and sent to people. I think I sent Hank Leo a little piece of a song or something. So I've done some stuff like that, which is a little bit easy, but to pre-record something and send to somebody. But to make a performance for a camera is totally different. I have such a profound respect for the people who are in television. you know, uh, TV, like soap opera people or whoever, all these people that have to conjure up these emotions with no crowd. I don't really know how they do it. In live theater, I can get it because there's a feeling you get from a crowd of people. So I have not felt very powerful um, in these times, and I do think that music can change the world. For personally, it's in these days it seems to change it just kind of one person at a time, uh, rather than like I have been sort of more accustomed to. I mean, I've been accustomed to performing for a few people or more at a time in a live situation, and the crowd will certainly change what I'm thinking or feeling. I might have a sense of where I'm going to start out a performance, but then depending on what the crowd seems to respond to or the way what they give back to me, then I can take the performance on a totally different trajectory, and indeed play songs that I haven't played in years, or not because somebody requested it even necessarily, but certainly that helps too. But just because a crowd gives so much, and so I have not felt real powerful in these times, unfortunately. But the internet's a cool thing. And certainly I like the real thing better. I'm glad I've got a husband now. I would hate like hell to be alone during this time. I feel terrible for people who don't have somebody, when you have to be isolated. It's an awful time. We're not creatures made to have to keep 6 feet of distance from each other and stuff. It's been an awful emotional time for me.
I'm with you. I'm not designed to be around one person 24/7, 7 straight months. So that's been an eye opener. And then you're trying to keep your sanity because you're not seeing your family or your friends. And yeah, these have been very interesting times.
Yeah, it's not. It's just been sad all the way around. We've had a terrible outbreak here in Greenville, Mississippi, where I live. Uh, our numbers shot up about 6 or 8 weeks ago or so, and my dad got the coronavirus too, and
Oh
he
no.
suffered. He suffered, and me and my brother had to look out for him. We had to stay with him because somebody had to. You just really are very vulnerable, and you don't know when you're not getting enough oxygen. And I can see very easily how people succumb to the virus and pass away. But I have, you know, I've kept my circle a little bit wider probably than you're supposed to. Like I go to my dad's all the time, so I see my family that I grew up with kind of on a regular basis, and that's been a real blessing. But yeah, we around here we hug everybody that we see. We kiss people. Um, we're real touchy feely, probably a little too much for some folks. And so I think that's why it's spread here, because people greet each other, and it's very hard to not do that. I mean, I've had to say, whoa, because people just your automatic reaction when you see somebody you hadn't seen in a while is, oh, how are you? And you have your arms outreached. And well, I don't. I say, hey, whoa, I'm going to hug you when this is over.
And can't wait for that moment. I'm going to hug strangers. I'm just
Right.
going to hug the
Yeah.
one person that smiles at me. And
Right. Remember that hands across the world or hands across America or whatever? Wouldn't that be nice?
yeah, wouldn't that be
Yeah.
nice?
Yeah.
So now we got a fun question.
Oh, good. Well, they've all been fun in their own way.
Meg Parrish from North Carolina wants to know, where does one find the great shoes you wear?
Oh, you know, unfortunately, the one of the stores that I used to go to get some of my favorite shoes has just closed.
Oh,
S. Goodman's in downtown Greenville, Mississippi. That had been there, a real family-owned department store that had
mm,
been there ever since I can remember, and they have just closed their doors just here recently. Such a an institution here in our community. It was really sad for them to need to close, but boy, I sure have a collection of shoes from that place. And let's see now. Well, now I do a lot of shopping online. The gaudier, the better. uh, yeah, it helps. It helps being in a community where a lot of people get very dressed up to go to church. I came, I came up here and here people really, everybody works and everybody looks great at work, but man, they really get decked out on Sunday when it's time to go to church. And so when people are looking for their Sunday best, you have to have a good resource for footwear because you're going to be standing up some, but there will be some. It only lasts an hour or four here in the Delta when you go to church. Anybody can stand that. You can stand up and sit down if you need to. You get off those beautiful shoes. I shop online too. You know, now I do.
That's great. So, Roger B. from South Carolina, he says, you have an amazing family history, and I understand the Greenville Bridge is named after your grandfather. How did he come to have this bridge named after him?
Uh, all right. Well, my granddad, my dad. I wish my daddy was here because he would tell you better. Let's see. I reckon it would be my great grandfather, or possibly even my great great grandfather, might have had some kind of boat, and I believe that he moved some things on the river, possibly some illegal things like liquor at some
All
point.
right.
I'm pretty sure. Uh, I'm pretty sure that he did, and so my grandfather, when he came up, he did a lot of different jobs. He used to be a projectionist at a movie theater, and he came, up during the Depression, and so sometime after the Depression, they made it through that, and this is my dad's daddy, and he went into a barge and riverboat business with some people, and he just the business just grew and grew and grew, and he was a river transportation pioneer. Jesse Brent was his name, and so they well he's been dead for quite a long time, and it's just been kind of recently that they named the bridge the Jesse Brent Memorial Bridge.
Hmm.
um but in the year let's see, he died in 82, I'm pretty sure. And then in the year 2000, the Waterways Journal, which is a trade journal for the river industry, named him the Riverman of the Century, even though he'd been dead for nearly 20 years. And, excuse me, and I think it's because he did some things that were fairly innovative for his time. Like I said, he died in 1982. But by that point, starting out with just one boat and one barge, he amassed this, kind of a towboat empire. And he had, I think, 27 workboats, and I don't know how many barges at the time of his death. I believe that's right. In any case, he amassed quite a fortune, um, and with that, he did lots of things like help competitors get into business.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
he started a profit sharing plan for his employees way before anybody had ever heard of a 401k. So that when people retired, they would have some retirement. He did a lot of really cool things, and he stayed politically active and connected, and so he did a lot of handshaking and deal making with the people that could make laws and regulations that were advantageous to the river industry. He was a pioneer in the industry, and I think that's why they honored him with the naming of the bridge here. And my dad is carrying on his legacy, and then my brother and many other people in the family are also riverboat pilots, and I mean, nearly all the fellas in the family have driven a towboat before. uh, so it's a fascinating life, uh, and there's a beautiful interview with my dad on the internet. I'll have to post that sometime coming up soon. There's a beautiful interview that the Seamen's Church did of my father, talking about being married and having to be gone so much of the time when you're on a riverboat. And he talks about it in a beautiful way. How it's like a honeymoon every time you come home. Yeah.
Oh.
Uh, so yeah, the river people to this day, they tend to be really gutsy, and rugged people, and just down to earth. Great, they're great people. I came from a really wonderful family, just loving and uh, open-minded family. I've been really lucky in that way.
You do have a great family. Glenda Boyd Allison from Louisiana
Yep, I hope she's feeling good today.
has the question of the hour that Sam Opala wants to know, and everybody
Uh
wants to
oh,
know.
I'm not gonna be able to answer this one. Go ahead.
Are
What
you
is it?
are you working on a new album?
I'm always working on a new album. There always seems to be some impediment. I think I put these artificial impediments. The truth is, there's some. You know, I've never been intimidated to perform for a live crowd. There is some degree of intimidation for me associated with performing on camera. One time I did the last record I did a thing on the Chicago. I think I was maybe up there in Chicago playing the Chicago Blues Festival, and they got me a spot on the newscast. On the newscast they'll feature an artist that's going to play at the festival, and then they'll get to play in the commercial. And so we were there for like the whole hour, and they would just play a little. I think we got to play probably on a minute of a song, and then there was probably 15 seconds here and 15 seconds there on the commercial breaks. And even that was hard because it's just me looking at a bunch of camera people, and you don't really know who to look at. I mean, if there's a crowd, you can look at them. uh, so I think there's a bit of intimidation for me also with the recording studio. I don't. There's a lot of people who love to go record, and I don't. I really don't love to go record because I'm scared of it. It's like I can't breathe properly because I can hear myself in the headphones. So Colin Linden, who produced my last two records, he did a great thing by saying, "Well, just take them off then. Just don't wear headphones. Just play and do your thing." uh, so yeah, I'm always working on something, but I don't have any studio time booked. I did talk to Scott Bomar up in Memphis about maybe doing something. I just talked to my friend Steve Chesborough out in Portland, Oregon the other day about maybe me and him doing a record together. He's a hell of a, can I say hell of a?
That's a good word.
Uh, he's a hell of a guitar player. Uh,
Oh,
uh, yeah, well, I thought it'd be fun maybe to do a kind of pared down record that where you wouldn't have to have a big band during COVID. I like to record live, and probably these times you don't want to get 10 or 12 people in the same room together trying to record.
right.
So it might be a good time to do a smaller project where you can maintain your 6 or 12 feet of distance.
And would you still do both guitar and piano?
Well, Steve is so great with traditional finger picking stuff. He plays a national guitar, and he does all that beautiful old stuff like Delta blues.
Mm.
He can do Mississippi John Hurt, who's not considered Delta blues, but it's not too far removed. Um, or old Bo Carter songs. So he's got this great. Steve Chesborough has this great series of books that nearly everybody who comes to visit from, and especially from Europe, but from a lot of other places too. He's got this series of books called Blues Traveling, and
Mm.
so he's a wonderful resource if you need to know anything. He probably knows it 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
uh, Anyhow, but he's a wonderful guitar player, and so I've mentioned to him maybe we ought to do some recording together. Yeah, I'm always working on something, and my husband Bob was kind of trying to shove me in that direction, and so he wrote me 3 really great songs that are ready to go. And I've got some stuff, but nothing that I've polished the edges off of yet. It's like clipping your fingernails; they still need to be filed. That's the way the material is. I'd love to work with Scott Bomar too up in Memphis, but for that project, I think I might. He's got a great collection of keyboard instruments, Whirly and probably a Farfisa. I mean, I don't even know what all he's got. He's got, I'm sure, B3 in his studio. He's got such a great collection of keyboard equipment that it'd be more fun there, I think. What I had in mind was maybe to get away from the acoustic piano and do some electric sounding stuff. Ray Charles did a good bit of that. And all the folks up there in Memphis, the good 70s stuff from up yonder. I'm always working on it, but I don't know. I hadn't done it yet. I've been afraid to go anywhere.
And that was, again, a lot of questions that I got as to when are you going to be here or here or here. So I think this might be a good moment if you're willing. We'll dedicate it to all the folks who want to see you. But the folks that asked the question I was going to ask was Debbie and Carl Cox out of California.
I love
And
them.
they wanted to know when you were going to come back to at least the West Coast. And
I've been worried about them too. I've been worried about all my people out there. I played out in Talent, Oregon, and that place is just decimated, I understand.
So maybe you could play us one of your favorite Boogaloo's songs, and we'll dedicate it to all these people who want to see you.
Sure we could. Let's see. What's the use of getting sober when you're gonna get drunk again? I said, what's the use of getting sober when you know you're gonna get drunk again? You run around here sober every day, people gonna think you ain't got many friends. I said, stay drunk, try to stay drunk all the time. I said, stay drunk, try to stay drunk all the time. You run around here sober every day, people gonna think you done lost your mind. Yeah. Stay drunk. Especially these days, y'all. What's the use of getting sober when you know you're gonna get drunk again? Oh, what's the use of getting sober when you know you're gonna get drunk again? You run around here sober every day, people gonna say you ain't got too many friends. I said, stay drunk like me and Boogaloo used to do. Try to stay drunk all the time. I said stay drunk. Try to stay drunk all the time. You run around here sober every day. People gonna think you done lost your mind. I think I need to tune my piano, especially up here. Yeah, it's really, really out up there.
Yay!
Oh, yeah.
And the last question is
All right.
from Alicia Smith in Alabama.
Uh-huh.
She wants to know what makes you smile.
Oh, Alicia makes me smile right now. Shoot, thinking about Boogaloo makes me smile. Thinking about how beautiful it is out my window makes me smile. Looking at my husband makes me smile. We've got a little Chiweenie puppy named Monty who makes me smile. I got a big yellow Labrador retriever named Annabelle who makes me smile. She's almost 17 years old.
That's crazy.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, a lot of things make me smile. Music makes me smile. My tea makes me smile. I got this tea and it says this is Yogi tea. I'm not no commercial for Yogi, really, but I like them because they taste good, and also they have these little, like almost like a fortune cookie.
Oh, fun.
You know. So this one says, "The voice of your soul is breath," which I thought was being good for today. I didn't realize it was going to say that. I just got myself some tea.
Isn't that wild after all that has been said here? Your breathing lessons, and
Yeah.
it kind of summarizes it all. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, you look great, Eden. And
I feel
know
good. You know, I had earlier in the year, the last time we talked, Tina, on the I think that was called Gig Sessions, was it?
The lunchtime talk one, yeah.
Lunchtime talk, yeah. Well, the lunchtime talk, the last time we talked, I do recall I was with Jason Ricci.
Yep.
And I remember we were talking about gumbo. I had just made a wonderful pot of gumbo. It really was so delicious. I've been hoping. I've made it one or two more times since then, and it just, that first time was magic. I don't know why. So anyway, what happened during the first part of this whole lockdown was that I was learning how to cook, and I always knew how to eat because I live in a good location for good food, right between Memphis, Tennessee, and New Orleans, Louisiana. I mean, you got a lot of good food locations just within arm's reach. So I was learning how to cook, and I was putting on what I call some COVID curves.
Oh, I've heard it just as COVID weight, but you got COVID curves.
Yeah. Anyway, so I kept seeing those dang Nutrisystem ads on the TV. I went on the dang Nutrisystem.
You did.
I damn sure did. And I dropped. Now I can wear my old clothes again. So y'all will all recognize me. When we get out of lockdown, you'll recognize me because I'll still be wearing the same crap I was wearing about 10 years ago.
I love your outfits.
All of my outfits still fit.
That's great.
Isn't it wonderful? I don't even have to go shopping.
So what shoe size do you wear?
Let's see. My shoe, well, really, I could probably get away with a 6.5 wide.
Oh,
but
you're
sometimes
my
I wear
size.
a 7 wide. I got a wide foot.
Okay, you're my size.
And but a lot of times I have to buy a 7.5 if the shoe doesn't come in a wide. I have to buy a 7.5 just so I can get my foot in the shoe.
I thought I'd help Meg and see if maybe there was some swaps in there.
I love shoes. I really love shoes. I have found some great shoes at that
Mm-hmm.
DSW.com. Um, I can't even remember all the shoe stores I have shopped at online. They send me little coupons. But I'm getting now where I can't crawl around in those big old pointy toed shoes. Somebody had said, well, I guess a drummer I worked with for about 10 years or so named Mike Deal. I swear he's probably about 10 or 12 years older than me or something. And he kept saying to me, you just wait, you just wait till you get 50. And I mean, man, he wasn't kidding. I was laughing at him thinking, but I can't hold my dang liquor anymore. I can't walk in my high heels anymore. I can't stay up all night and raise hell like I used to. Dang, I mean, 50, over 50. Let's see, I'm 54 now. And, I'm telling you, this mid 50, it kind of, if I let it, it could just take all the fun out of every damn thing. you know,
Yeah, I wore
woo.
heels every day of my life, Eden, until I moved to Florida. And once
Oh,
my feet got in those flip-flops,
yeah.
it is
It is
merely
very hard to go back.
impossible. Yeah, I can't wear
Yeah.
heels anymore.
Oh, yeah.
The
Well, who did?
BMAs are the one day a year I wear them, and
Oh,
then my
yeah.
feet kill me for days after.
The one thing I've discovered is if I you can buy a lot of pretty sandals shoes, a lot of
Hmm.
pretty high heels that are sandals and all kind of jewel adornments and stuff. If I can, I'm with you on the flip flops because if I can put my foot in something that feels like my foot is bare, then I do better.
Yeah.
So if I can walk on a high heel as long as my poor little toes aren't smushed in there. I mean, whoever thought that a foot was?
Made to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you put on well, most hats don't do that.
Right.
The dunce hat though does.
The dunce hat does.
Yeah, so maybe those are dunce shoes. Oh shit! But I love wearing them. I sure do. And I'm going to get my album together. I am going to do that. If it's the last thing I do, and it won't be the last thing.
And okay, because this is what a lot of people want to know. You're gonna get it done. What is a targeted time frame?
I
Will
just
we
have to go
see
ahead and
it
get it. I have to
in
go ahead and get it.
2021?
I have to go ahead and finish a project by the end of this year, I think. It's the fall now. Things have cooled off. Yeah, I think I just have to do it. But where are we going to get the money is the question. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some creative way to come up with the resources besides just the old GoFundMe kind of deal. I wanted to do something more interesting than that. You know, I don't know, but I'm coming up with some ideas as we speak of interesting ways to move the project along financially. It's hard to move a project along when you don't have any gigs. I don't have any gigs to pay for anything right now. I mean, every little bit of money I've got, I have to. You don't realize how expensive a 17-year-old yellow lab can be.
Ooh, I can only
She's on all kind
imagine.
of medicine and stuff. I mean, she eats better than I do, especially now that I've been on the Nutrisystem diet. you know.
Everybody's eating better than you, is what you're saying.
Right? Have you seen those portions?
Yeah, but see, I eat like that anyway.
I know. Well, that's why your
I'm
figure's
that
always
kind of
been so
eater.
wonderful. You've always had the best figure,
Oh,
girl.
thank you.
All us heavy girls have been saying, Tina, you bitch.
This is what I will always love and remember about Candy Cane.
Oh, God bless her. I loved her.
Every time she would send gifts to the Piedmont Talent office, like if it was a fruit basket or a box of chocolates, she would always send me my own to home. because I needed to eat the whole box. So she was always great at encouraging me to eat more.
Oh, well, no need though. No need. You got a terrific figure. You know, there's a reason why all of the ladies that do fashion shows are thin. It's because clothes look so good on your kind of a frame. They just do. There is no mistake about it. Clothes just hang better on your kind of figure. It's just you always look so great.
You're
It's
so
nice.
sweet.
uh,
Thank you.
don't you think I ought to sing them one more? Do we have time for that?
Yeah, and I think Sam Opala's comment about our dialogue about shoes, he's right. You need to write yourself a song about some shoes.
And who I'm gonna kick?
Right.
All right. You know this song here. I had heard my little sister do it, and my sister Bronwyn did this at a gig one night, and I thought it was so beautiful. It's a song written by Will Kimbrough and Will Owen. And when I was in the studio and just kind of knocking around, then Colin Linden said, "Why don't you do that one?" So we did. And people loved it. So here it is for any of you who love it like I do. It's a beautiful song. Oh, good night, moon. Good night, stars. Good night, oh, broke down cars. Gone away, leaving soon. Good night, darling. Good night, moon. I don't know where I'll be. I don't know if I see out the window of my room shining down. Oh, good night, moon. Thank you, babe, I'm gonna miss you. When the night comes around, that's the time that I will long to kiss you. When the moonlight is shining on the ground. Oh. Oh, thank you, babe, I'm gonna miss you when the night comes around. That's the time that I will long to kiss you. When the moonlight is shining on the ground. Oh, good night, moon. Good night, stars. Good night, old broke down cars. I'm gone away, leaving soon. Good night, darling. Oh, good night, moon. Good night, darling. Oh, good night, moon. Oh, good night, darling. Good night, moon.
Oh, thank you. That's one of my all-time favorite songs you do. And
That's a pretty song.
I don't know why I always thought that song was written by your mother.
Oh, well, it could have been.
You know, it's very similar to the style of a lot of the stuff on Mississippi #1. Right?
Yeah.
That was
that came off the what record that's off of?
No,
So,
a
oh
lot
yeah,
of your
Mama
mom's
wrote some
songs.
on Mississippi One,
Right.
yeah. And then me and my sisters did a
Still haven't
record of
heard
hers.
that.
Oh, you don't have a copy of that?
I don't.
Oh God, I gotta send you that, Tina.
Please.
I thought you had that ages ago.
No.
Oh yeah, I gotta send you that. Oh, it's nice. A lot of people really like that one.
I
It's
have
short
to
and
admit,
sweet.
I felt a little jealous when Hank Leo said he had a copy.
Oh shoot.
I was like, oh man.
Well.
Oh, thank you for doing this today. This was great.
Oh, thanks
And
for inviting me. I thought it was fantastic. One reason to get dressed today.
well,
Normally,
and that thank
normally
you
I'm
for
just in
mentioning that.
Normally
Yeah.
I'm just in my exercise stuff all day
Right.
long till I put my nightgown on.
Today was that day that I thought that, getting dressed, Been normally doing this on Thursdays with the lunchtime talk. And so, yeah, Thursday's that day that, I get up, get dressed. And so today I had that thought like, wow, maybe I should be doing this every day. It will motivate me.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah, COVID has relaxed a lot of, pajamas are wonderful things to wear all day.
That's true. People around here are pretty relaxed anyway. I mean, before COVID, you'd see people go to the store in their house using pajama pants.
Right.
Me too, even.
Right.
Anyway, well, thanks a lot. And thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and good to hear from some of my friends out there.
Yeah. And tell Bob hello. Enjoy your weekend.
Sure.
And we will talk soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you again for joining us. If you liked what you saw, please click like. If you want to know when we go live, please subscribe. We'll see you next week for Joe Crown in the hot seat. Get your questions in advance. You can email them to me at thegigsessions@tinaterryagency.com, or you can instant message the Gig Sessions page. Thanks so much. Enjoy your weekend.